Hi, I'm Leanne from Bat Lady Herbals, and welcome to my video. Today, I am on the shore of Central Florida's infamous Lake Jessup, and I wanted to introduce you to a plant that likes to grow around waterways and in meadows here in Florida. Now, it's one of those plants that it's going to be a little bit hard to see until you get a little closer to the ground. It grows as a ground cover, and that is frog fruit. Now, this little plant has an interesting name, and the name actually developed over a span of centuries, because several hundred years ago, some farmers kept noticing that after they mowed down their hay and the grass, that certain flowers kept popping up before anything else. Now, this was one of those flowers, and since the meadows that they were mowing down happened to get fog early in the morning, they just called all of these different flowers fog fruit. Now, this particular little flower likes to grow close to waterways, which is the same place that you tend to find frogs. So after a couple hundred years, the word fog fruit morphed into frog fruit. Now, the official common name for this plant is turkey tail fog fruit, not frog fruit. But around here, we always call it frog fruit. We have 4 species here in Florida. One of those species is woody and a bit bigger, kind of into a shrub, so this is obviously not that one. One of those species is found in 3 different counties, and it only really pops up in spring. About this time in the summer, it's already gone. Not that one. The third one is even more rare. It only pops up in 1 county, and that county is in the north, so North Florida. We're here in Central Florida, so that leaves Phelia notifloria. Now, this plant grows all over Florida, all over the southeast, and it even goes as far west as California and as far north as Oregon. It's native to North, Central, and South America, but because of how fast it grows and some of its medicinal qualities, it's become a staple in almost all of the tropics around the world, including India and China, which India and China tend to use this as medicine a lot more than we do here. Now, this plant is in the verbena family, or the Verbenaceae, so it's very closely related to a lot of mints. Mints and verbenas are all in the same order, so they're close cousins, which means that it's not going to be toxic for you. However, this plant is extremely bitter, so it doesn't taste the best. Now, if you dry the leaves make a pretty decent tea, as long as you don't mind that your tea has a little grass flavor to it. And the leaves are edible when they're boiled. Boil some of that bitterness out. But it's not really commonly eaten. It is more commonly used for medicine. Now, some of the traditional uses include juicing it and feeding the juice to babies to help them walk earlier, feeding the juice to women shortly after labor to help speed the healing of the trauma they've just gone through, giving birth. But the more common uses that we still have for it today include wound care. You take the leaves, you pound them up or chew them up really well, moisten them a little bit, put them on your wounds. It's antibacterial, antifungal, and antimicrobial. So it'll help keep your wounds clean, and it also helps to speed the healing of those wounds just a little bit. Now, the parts of this plant that are used for medicine are pretty much the whole plant. The flowers are not typically used as much as the leaves and the root. The root you can use, you can either juice it or decoct it, which basically means boiling it in water for a long period of time. And the decoction or the juice can be fed to children who have tummy upsets. Very similar to a lot of adult gastrointestinal issues. Now, you can also juice the plant, and since it is very bitter, you can drink the juice as a bitter tonic, which helps with most of your gastrointestinal problems. It is a carminative, which means that it helps to relieve flatulence or gas. And it does help with the absorption of certain vitamins and minerals in your intestinal tract. Certain cultures around the world will also infuse the leaves of this plant in an oil and use it on their hair and on their scalp to help relieve and prevent dandruff. You can also use the same oil for a lot of skin conditions such as eczema, psoriasis. It's been used for scabies. It's been used for chickenpox, and it's also been used for leprosy. Now with chickenpox, you can also use it as a poultice by, once again, pounding up or chewing up those leaves and putting it on any pox that pop up to help relieve the itching, help prevent the kids or adults from scratching and causing scars, and also help them to get over the virus itself a little bit faster. Now, if you drink the juice of this plant or a tea made out of the leaves, it can also help to relieve some of the symptoms that come along with piles, otherwise known as hemorrhoids. Helps them heal a little bit faster, helps stop that annoying itch that comes with those. Now, this little plant is also anti-inflammatory, so a poultice made from these leaves or a juice from the root can be taken or placed on sore joints to help reduce inflammation in cases like arthritis. It also helps to lower blood sugar, so it can be used to help control blood sugar in diabetics. But that also means that you should use a little bit of caution with this plant if you want to add it to your routine and you take diabetic medications, because it could lower your blood sugar a little bit too much in conjunction with those medications. It's also a diuretic, which means that it helps you to shed any excessive water weight, which can also be really good for diabetics, and it also can help reduce blood pressure. So if you are on any blood pressure medication, talk to your doctor before adding this plant into your routine. Now, one of the other amazing benefits from this little plant is that if you are prone to kidney stones, the juice from this plant, if taken on a fairly regular basis, can help prevent the formation of those kidney stones. And if you already have kidney stones formed, the juice can help to break up those kidney stones so that they are much easier to pass. And like I mentioned before, this is a very bitter herb, so it can be used like you use digestive bitters. Take it 15 minutes before meals to help process any fatty foods that you might be consuming and help prevent heartburn. Now, while this has a lot of medicinal uses, locally, this is an amazing plant to use as a ground cover in your yard because it is a host plant for at least 3 species of butterflies that we have. And it's a nectar plant for a lot of smaller insects that have a harder time with the bigger plants. Whenever this is blooming in the grass and you're walking around, every step you take, you'll see these little insects scattering all over the place. It's actually a wonderful plant for our native insects and our native pollinators. Our little green bees that we get here in Florida love these plants just as well. So thank you for joining me today on the shores of Lake Jessup here in Central Florida. Once again, I'm Leanne from Bat Lady Herbals. If you like what I do and would like to see more, please find me on Patreon. I'm going to link that down below and become a patron. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I have a blog that I try to post a couple things a month on. I'm going to put a link down below on that. And pretty soon you'll find a lot more information about this plant on that blog. Also, if you want me to come to your yard and help show you what you might have that's medicinal or edible, I'm starting backyard tours. You can contact me at batladyherbals@gmail.com for more information. Also, feel free to find my shop on Teespring and see some really interesting t-shirt designs. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. So Phelia nautifloria, otherwise known as frog fruit.